Hello, everyone. 13. Okay, cool.
Okay. In waiting.
Go ahead, Justin. Justin. I said, go ahead. You can start, right?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Hi everyone. Thank you for coming. We have 15 people in the room now. Let me get my slides up. Okay. My slides can be seen, right? Just to check.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. Just an introduction. Okay, just an introduction. What we do here, this is called the Digital Roundtable. The Digital Roundtable is usually done on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. at KL Gateway Mall. But due to our MCO, which I'm sure all of us are affected by, we decided to bring it online in the whole spirit of digitalization, right? So we don't want to let it stop us. We want to make it business as usual. So we brought it online. Okay, but of course, when we are doing online, we cannot, we didn't limit it to 10 people anymore. Now we open it up and many have registered. So we're going to do it a little differently. The discussion will be done via the chat box so that we can save time. So what Digital Roundtable is about is really for us to share digital knowledge for those who want to implement it in their business to see how they can benefit from digital. Okay, a lot of people at meeting. Okay, so how this online meeting is going to work. Three things. Number one, you can participate in the chat box. Okay, if you are here, if you can hear me, say hi in the chat box. Okay. Oh, that's where my chat box is.
That's good. Okay.
Okay, cool. So that's the chat box. So this chat box is where we're going to have our discussion. So be participative, try to contribute to the discussion, as your discussion is going to be our insights as well for everyone to learn. So we want to learn from each other as well. So throughout the presentation, you can ask as many questions as you want in the presentation. We may not answer all of them if there are many questions, but if Victor or myself, we catch the question and we think it can add value to everyone, we'll just take that to answer immediately. Okay, and we'll keep the presentation short. We are going to spend more time on Q&A as well, so that so why we want to spend more time on Q&A, because whatever we share, it's knowledge for us, but the real value comes down to how we can apply it to your business, right? So how you want to implement it, ideas, and hearing from you guys would add value to us as well, too, so that we can understand the market better as well. So everyone good? If all good, put good in the chat box.
Give me a moment. Let me double check with him. You guys are all there, right? Yeah, okay, I see.
All stable. Aha, okay.
Yeah, Justin, correct.
Okay, where did I break off?
Yeah. Okay, please proceed, Justin.
Okay, so yeah. Summarize, be participative, ask questions. There'll be a live Q&A to add value to everyone at the end of the session. So, now let's proceed. So today, want to, okay, the presentation will be done by Victor. Victor is my business partner, and also I would call him my mentor in digital marketing, in business, right? So he has started and sold several startups and SMEs. You can see there, and now recently, the most recent endeavor, venture he's in now is Jobbie Nut Butter. For those of you who are peanut butter fans, you would probably heard of this brand. It's the #1 online brand in Malaysia, and the last I heard from him, the business is thriving right now. It's thriving in this situation while retail outlets outside are panicking. So that's one power of digitalization. So this session will also be hosted by myself. I founded Adeve Digital, a digital marketing agency. I'm also the product lead at AXP for marketing automation solutions. So across my career in digital marketing, ever since I officially started digital marketing, I spent over ringgit 1 million in digital ads. That's Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads for my clients, together with my team. So that's a little bit about us and why we are doing this, right? So to start off, I just want to hear from all of you. I want you all to introduce yourself in the chat box. Your name, your company name, put it all in one paragraph. Your name, your company name, your core product and service, your ideal client or your target audience, and what value you provide to your target audience. So an example below, like you can type while you're doing it. Okay, so for example, myself, I'm Justin from Adeve Digital. I specialize in lead generation using digital marketing. My ideal clients are training companies and college and universities. I help people to not only generate leads, but implement tools and strategies to convert these leads into actual paying customers. So that's what I would type into the chat box. So I want all of us to do that now so that we can get to know you, get to know what value you provide to your clients, and roughly for Victor and I to understand where you're coming from. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, to break to the next line, put Shift Enter. Or you can just don't press Enter. Okay.
Okay, I'm participating. I put mine too.
Nice.
So if you all don't participate, right, then Justin and I cannot give you insight into your specific questions later. Yeah. Okay. Is Aaron working at Media Arts Academy? Cool. Corporate dietitian.
Hey guys, my name is Patrick Chen. So basically our company name is Asterisk Innovates Surian Berhad. Our core product will be audiovisual. So our target audience or clients will be multinational companies, MNCs, and big corporates, especially those that have many meeting rooms, corporate conference rooms.
Not sure if it's my, is it my line? Yeah, it's my, is it my line? Yeah. Okay, yeah, okay, my connection is back on. Okay, great. Okay, okay, while you're doing that, so keep doing. If you haven't done it, just feel free to add in. So for those that just joined us, we are asking you all to introduce yourself in the format on the screen so that we can add value to you, and yeah, so that we can add value to you by knowing what industry you're coming from and who our audience are. Okay, so I'll move on first. just want to get a temperature check, right? Where are you in this current crisis or current situation, we'll call it? How is your business doing? Okay. How is your business doing in this whole situation? And what are you doing to respond to the situation? Okay, so for example, you can say that you are panicking, right? And you are responding by cutting all costs. Or you can say you are happy because my business is growing in this opportunity because I'm selling masks, right? Or you can just say, wait and see, right? I don't know what's going on. We'll see how long this extends. Let's hope and pray that it doesn't kill my business. So, or you can, if you're taking proactive measures to grow your business, we want to hear that as well. So, yeah, you can do that in the chat box as well.
Okay. Wait and see for Richard Ma. I can't do renovation online. I will prove you something later, Richard. Okay. Patrick, panic. Okay, cool. Understand. That's the general consensus. Santos, wait and see. Okay. Every day different mode. Happy, wait and see also have. Okay.
Okay, while you guys are doing that, feel free to continue. Okay, so we have a lot of mixed emotions going on now, right? Big businesses having cash flow situations. Small businesses don't know if they can survive past the next 2 weeks. Oops, there are people coming in. Okay. Yeah, so there are many different emotions going on now in business owners. And what we want to really address now is how digitalization can really help and maybe even put your business into a better position of thriving towards the future, not just in this situation, but towards the future as well. So without further ado, I will want to now pass the time to Victor. Okay, he will take over. Yeah.
All right. Okay, thanks everyone. Glad everyone could join despite these times that we had. Usually, like Justin mentioned, we have a limit of 10, but today we're 27, which is very good. That's the upside of this whole situation. So I just want to preface the whole discussion with saying that a lot of people still think that digital marketing is just another form of distribution channel. Which is actually the wrong way to look at it. If you're utilizing digital, right, it has to have a different business model, a different business mindset shift. So in the few later discussions, few slides, I'll outline some of the types of business, right, and what they're doing right now. And I see a lot of these other situations which will be very applicable to all of you. Okay, next slide, Justin. So we'll take a quick poll, right? There's actually the current situation, we can look at it as a crisis or opportunity, right? And if we're looking at a crisis perspective, then it's pretty usual to say there's no business revenues, you still have to pay costs, you can't operate at all, bankruptcies and shutdowns, right? On the other hand, if you look at it, if we're looking at from an opportunity standpoint, then not only is your business going to be more, but if you've got competition with shut down, you can grab market share, and maybe this changes the consumer behavior to give you a better operating model when the whole thing recovers. So we did a quick poll, and it seems to me right now, cool. Most of you actually think it's an opportunity. That's fantastic, actually. But is it it seems that the sentiment and how you see it is very different. So your sentiment is like, okay, you take a wait and see approach. Some are not very good, but your mindsets right now, it seems that everybody thinks this is an opportunity. Excellent. So I think that that's a very good discussion that we should be having in the next few slides. Okay, I think Justin, we can end the poll here. 79% actually said it's an opportunity. 21% say it's a crisis. Okay. Now, this will be an unpopular opinion to most people. I actually see this whole scenario as more of like a business culling that's happening right now. If you look at it, right, the writing was always on the wall that digital is the future, but there are a lot of good times that sustain the business. In fact, you can see stock markets going up, retail spending are strong and everything, right? GDP growth is there, but those kind of situations actually sustain those businesses which may not be profitable. So for those who have actually invested into digital but did not see any returns in the past 1 to 2 years, now they're reaping all the profits actually. So if I want to just project some of my current situation, for example, with Jobbie, we invested heavily into digital marketing in the past year till now. People thought we were crazy, you know, acquiring customers for between 10 to 20 ringgit per customer, while our products are actually quite expensive. But like I mentioned, because we understood the business model in terms of the recurring income, and we could calculate and track the customer behavior, today we're seeing about 3 to 5x of the sales itself, right? And not only 3 to 5x of the sales, but significantly 2 to 3 times lower marketing costs. So I would treat it more of a catalyst of change right now. And this is a good way to sort of remove all the excess and trim of underperforming businesses, if you would. So I've been actually a proponent of digitization, selling software way 3 to 5 years, way before this thing came in, right? And at that time, I approached a lot of brands that you all may have heard about, you know, like Padini, you know, Sambonia. These are big local brands, right? For the women, they know, and for the men, we are shopping outside waiting for the woman, Nose, N-O-S-E, the shoe, right? Vinci. So all of them, I actually approached them to go digital, but they were just saying, oh no, you know, I'm not going to invest, the profit margins are not there. But I think a different way to look at it. So now that you have the situation, if you are in that situation where you can still sustain, then in the next few slides, I'm going to tell you what strategies depending on what business types you are. Okay. So just the next slide. Okay. So in today's environment, you probably have like 4 types of business today itself, right? One I would term as something what we call fully digital. This one is no brainer, right? So services making money, the video conferencing all making money. But if you see some of the examples, I'm pretty sure everybody is watching their Netflix, right? Right. And Slack, Microsoft Teams, these are collaboration software, engineering software, fitness apps, right? Facebook and Google ads, they're all making money during this time just because they are fully digital and there's no sort of anchor to the physical product. In fact, if you look at it, Facebook just announced that they will need to increase their hardware infrastructure to cope for the demand that's coming up, right? So that's pretty straightforward. I think a lot of people understand, okay, fine, you know, fully digital business, they're all making a good buck right now, good times for them, sure. I think most businesses that are in this group right now will probably fall in the rest of the 3 categories, okay? So just the next one. Now, next one is something I would call a hybrid model, right? You've got good presence over there. is if I don't have anything doing at home right now, I'm going to be browsing online. And when you're browsing online, when more people browse online, right, versus limited people browsing online, the marketing costs go down, whether it's per click, per view, right? And when there's more, your chances of conversion is higher. So when it converts higher, you get more data for the algorithms in the Facebook and Google ads to actually find people with the same behavior, right? So with that, if you want to look at some examples, right? Of course, Jobbie is one of them because I can tell you the data, right? But you've seen the same going across all my fellow digital brands. These are digital-centric brands like Perk Coffee, Oxwhite. I think most men know Oxwhite on the clothes, right? The cheap online clothes brand. Trapo, this is a car mat. Car mats are being sold like hot crazies right now, right? Educational classes like Linda or Masterclass, they're all experiencing high subscriptions, okay? So that would be the hybrid model. Now, the next type of business, I think, which I suspect most of you all would be in, right, are the pre-digital ones, or I would say traditional business, right? Maybe you haven't made the full transition to online yet. You've dabbled a little bit into, say, online marketing, whether it's Google ads, Facebook ads. But the problem is, like Richard just now mentioned, he's in interior design. There's no sales. You can't operate given the restrictions in the current lockdown. And it seems right now there's really no path forward, because if the ban is not lifted, you can't operate. You are not under essential services, so it's going to be very hard, right? Now, some examples of this so we're clear is like gyms, salons, spas, hardware shops, education hubs, all this which require mass congregation of people. So, and most of retail actually. So all this which they have not made that transition to digital, right? So this could be most of it. And then we have the last segment of it, which is the non-digital ones at all, right? So when we talk about the non-digital ones, it's absolutely a product or service that cannot be delivered online today. It's not scalable, it's also highly dependent on other companies or labor or workforce, which cannot be deployed today. So if you look at this, right, Richard also falls into this, construction, interior design, building materials, B2B. I think we have Miko, which is in building materials, right? Property. All of this can't be turned online, but is that true? Later, I'll give you some insight of what you can do. So the next slide, before I tell you the steps that can be taken and give some examples, is to set up some expectations first, right? You can't expect today, like, you did not make the investment of digital infrastructure in the past 1 to 2 years, and then you expect to do something now and you can reap the benefits straight away. Definitely not. In digital, once you establish that lead, right, it's actually very hard to close the gap with your competition, okay? So the expectations must be there. And I'm going to show you a few expectations. Justin, first one. So in terms of what we can do when we are fully digital, we're a hybrid model, right? This is quite obvious, thriving and good sales, right? Now, this, whatever that we can recommend for this fully digital, you must have the timeline on a short and mid-term that's going to be good returns, okay? Long-term wise, if we're lucky, the behavior, the consumer behavior that they are so used to online already maintains, and you have a very good business moving forward. However, there's also a possible downside to this where it returns back to pre-COVID sales level. So it's not all good thing for digital. Yeah? If the consumer behavior reverts to normal, the marketing cost will shoot up probably 2 to 3x more, and then sales volume will drop immediately. And if they were not positioned for to replace that number of sales that they experience right now, so that's going to be bad for them. But it's pretty obvious right now. It's still good for fully digital and hybrid business. Okay. And then the next one. When we talk about pre-digital, right, your expectations right now should be a few things only, right? You can either grab your market share, prepare for a return in demand, And some business can even make sales now with some of the recommendations that I will be providing. However, you have to have the expectation set well. It's not going to take place immediately. If you're lucky with the recommendations that I put in, you can probably realize within, say, 2 weeks, but it's good to have expectation that it'll be 3 months for most businesses, all right? Some business, more on a consumer end, you can see it immediately within 1 month's time on the recommendations or the steps that I'm going to recommend, okay? And then of course, we have the last one, which is the non-digital one. I think this will be the people will be hit hard most. I think the expectations or whatever I'm going to recommend is that, you probably won't see immediate returns, and you have to have the mindset that it's really an investment for the long term. Your returns or whether ROI, whatever you're seeing, will be for the long term. And when I mean long term, it's going to be like probably 6 months and beyond. Okay. So why I wanted to put this slide first in terms of the expectations is because, and to segment it to different industries, I don't want anybody to feel that, oh, digital is the silver bullet to solve all the problems. It won't solve all your problems right now, right? And you have to put yourself in that relevant categories and set the expectations there to know when you're going to see that return. Okay. All right. Next slide, Justin. So my recommendations for those who are in a fully digital and hybrid business, right? Now is actually a very good time to do 3 of these things, right? Number 1 is to increase and invest more into the current digital marketing when the cost of competition and ad conversion cost is very, very low, okay? I think a lot of people will actually pull back marketing right now, but for these 2 kind of businesses where you can measure sales and conversions online, then you should double or triple those numbers in, okay? Depending if you have the budget to it. If not, you should reallocate the budget if those numbers are looking good to you. Now, second thing is that as their sales increase here in terms of fully digital and hybrid, they should utilize that skill, the new skill that they have to lower their operating costs. So as an example, like for us, Jobbie right now, when we have 2 to 3x return, we can actually go back to our manufacturers right now to say, look, I'm going to commit to you a yearly order of this particular stock. I know you cannot operate right now, but I'm going to commit to you based on this. Because for online, it's very predictable. If we know this number is possible once already, we know it's going to be possible in the next few months also. Yeah, even taking into account if the consumer behavior goes back to normal, right? And thirdly, I'm not sure if all of you all understand what we call a freemium model. If you don't, you'll mark it, and then we will take it on the Q&A session. If you're not making any money, you don't have money to invest, and you cannot lower your cost on the scale, you should take advantage of what we call the freemium model to gain more users for later conversion, right? We spoke about freemium a couple of times during the previous digital roundtable session, but it's actually a very simple concept, right? You give something out for free, right? And then you upsell a certain percentage of your customer later on, okay? So maybe you get 100 people on your free offering, right? But you can convert 20%. You have got to make that calculation that 20% is worth converting at the end of the day, right? So later, if you need more explanation of freemium, I can explain and repeat myself over there. But let's focus on the next few slides, since I think most of the businesses are within this remaining 2 types. Okay. Now, for the pre-digital businesses, right, traditional ones. In terms of what you can see in terms of mid to long-term approach, there's a few things that I would recommend. Number 1 key thing is that you should look at what you can productize currently to a scalable digital product. Okay, I'll give you some examples later. But some of you all might be asking, oh, okay, I remember Miko's business, so I'm going to talk a little about Miko. So if you're selling is the digital product, it's impossible, right? So this is where we talk about you look at the data that you have. actually a lot of information that you have today is very valuable to your consumers, but not valuable to you. So for example, if you're selling floor tiles like Miko, roofing materials and all this, right? Can you actually write a guide and then send it out to your customers? Okay. Later, I'll give you some examples how we can productize, how some business are productizing physical products into digital products, right? Second, I would say is that invest into the developing influence of your digital channels. Now, a lot of you, probably the business owners, have a lot of, I wouldn't say free time right now, but much more time than you would generally have than the past, right? And I think everybody knows that, I've got to have good Facebook, I've got to have good Instagram, but have you all really invested to give some thought on how to develop those channels, right? Now, we're not looking to say develop those channels to make money out of it. No, you have to invest that time and effort into developing that influence. Okay, get people following, and not only follow, but engaging in your content. So when you get people to invest and influence them, you can position yourself after the fact, right? In fact, later I'll give you some example how influence can turn into sales as well. Now, third one that you can do, okay, you've got existing customers today, right? Connect with them, still offer value. The value can not be in terms of sales, actually. It could be in terms of your knowledge, right? Consulting them back on the product they have. I've seen a lot of agents trying to do one-on-one catch-ups and all this, insurance agent. But that business model is okay because it's just communication. What if you're dealing with physical products? It's actually the same thing, You can think about it like, if I'm an interior designer, can I call some of my high-profile customers and have a chat with them to say, hey, if let's say this thing happens after the COVID, right? Are you going to remodel your kitchen again? Right? What kind of thoughts do you have? Let me show you some portfolio and whatnot, right? Of course, you have to be mindful that they may have bigger things on their mind right now. So you really have to put the content in context of the current situation. If not, people will really think that you're sales. The example is I actually personally received a lot of WhatsApp and email messages during this time for insurance product, for COVID and savings, which is just which is just a blast. So I don't think that's very targeted. Okay, so you got to target your clients a little bit more, give them a little bit more context on what are they worrying about, how does your product actually, if your product really doesn't fit now, it's okay lah. But I believe there's an angle to everything. That's my personal belief. Now, fourth one, if you are limited in what you can deliver right now, consider cross collaboration with essential services partner. We all know the essential services partner is e-commerce, right? It's logistics, food operators, manufacturing. Can you do anything with them, right? That still enables you to either reach new markets or profit together. So again, I'll give you some examples later down, right? And of course, the last one is try and invest into automation and digitization now. I know of a lot of education hubs right now which are shut down. They can't do anything. So if they're shut down and can't do anything, why are they not investing into automating their workflow, doing video conferencing with their students? A lot of people are deferring those capital investments. I understand, of course, you've got cash flow requirements to look at, but if you're in a good position, to consider that, because I think, you've got, I don't know if anybody knows, we can talk in this Q&A later, but Bank Negara has a few funds that they make available. It's even cheaper than our house loans or credit card loans, if you can afford it. And if you can take that investment to get or gear yourself up for that return, that's something you should consider. So let me give you some real world examples. I think some of you may have read it while I'm explaining already. Now, the first example is Jobbie Peanut Butter. We still have a physical product at the end of the day, but I have no insight on whether our manufacturing plant can continue, whether the peanuts can still come in. There's a lot of uncertainty. And even if I can secure my supply chain, I don't know whether the jar manufacturer is still there, the printing manufacturer is there. There's a lot of things that I cannot control. So we are even considering licensing our brand to expand our product range. So for example, we can talk to a ice cream manufacturer which have probably boatloads of ice cream with them right now. Instead of doing a Kit Kat ice cream, we can have a Jobbie ice cream, right? So licensing is one of the things you can think about, right? Now, I understand that's Karine from gym, right, Justin? Correct? Fitness, okay.
Yes, I confirm.
Okay. Yeah. So that came to my mind. See this advantage if you have attended one of our digital roundtables, then I'll remember and then I can put in an example, right? So like in Karine's business, it's a fitness kind of gym and all this. One of the other companies that I've worked with is a friend of mine. They're partnering up with meal prep companies to endorse and sell foods on their line. So this is the part where I say you can collaborate with essential services partner, because the food people, they're still selling food at the end of the day, but they cannot sell higher margin food, if they do it. But if they partner up with someone who knows how to do nutrition, I don't know, make you fit, while you're eating it, and then you cross collaborate the brand together, then you can actually still make money. And even if you do not make money, think about it. Your brand awareness is still out there today where you can convert later, okay? So the gym is one of them. I've also got, now why I mentioned salon in my next example is because some hair care. Even if you want to travel, your customer may not let you cut the hair, right? And I was thinking, how can they actually make money during this time? Well, I came to the conclusion that you can't actually make money, but you can gear yourself up for better influence. Now, one of it in the US they are actually doing, right, is that you can actually offer, this is for salons, right? You can offer live video tutorials on your hair care during lockdown. Very, very relevant. Your hair's still growing long, you still need to wash your hair, hygiene is there, right? But you can now take that chance to educate your clients on things that they traditionally would not be looking at. So for example, salon exclusive products, some range you can't even find it in the retail sector, And I don't know if all of you all remember, if you're in a upscale salon when they're washing your hair or whatnot, then they will say, hey, maybe you need to have this shampoo or conditioner or mask treatment. They try to upsell you. So that's actually not the right time to upsell. Now you can make educational videos, and then but don't do that video just to sell things, all right? Okay, you're basically connecting with the customer in a time that's context relevant to them. So when you give context relevance, the first thing when they think about when they need it, you think about you rather than going to Lazada and whatnot. So this is the example of the one where I say in point 2, investing into developing influence on digital channels. Now this influence will continue to be effective after the COVID as well, correct? Yeah. So this is something you can think about. Now, why I put interior design? Because Richard as well. Richard was in our digital roundtable session. So I remember those businesses that I always see in the face. Now, for example, interior design, he's right. He cannot do any construction right now. Even if the client wants to do it, there's probably no labor to do it for him, right? Now, Richard with his wine. Okay. So now if you think about it, right? Right now, there's really no chance for you to operate, okay? And the only thing you can do is prep and generate the leads for the return of the demand. Now, the good thing about those businesses that probably cannot operate now is it's very likely that they have a very long sales cycle, okay? So this is perfect. You generate the leads right now, and then you automate the lead nurturing, keep giving them information, and then come up to the point where when they need it after the whole lockdown and all this thing blows over, that's where your demand comes back. Okay, but you got to invest in that right now. And of course, you know, a lot of people might be asking, natural leads call one by one. No, there's actually a lot of automation tools out there which can automate this entire lead nurturing process. Justin can share more on this later on. Okay, so this is for pre-digital business, traditional a bit, you know. Let's look at the last portion, which is they're not very in a very good situation, not envious of their current situation, right? I have a lot of empathy and sympathy for these business owners because I'm also connected in the Malaysian Retail Chain Association. Is really, really bad right now. I mean, the commitments are high, loans are still there, cost is there, but they cannot sell online. That's the problem, right? So, okay, Justin, let's go to the next slide. Now, all I can say for this type of businesses right now is, unfortunately, we have to face the fact, right, that anything that you put in right now, you really need to look at it long term, more than 6 months. Now, the first thing tool, okay? When we talk about productization of knowledge, this can be guides, tips, documents, right? That are relevant to the client at this point in time, or when the thing comes in, right? Like for example, you know, it's a very good time to buy stocks right now, correct? If somebody give me a top 5 undervalued stock in the past 10 decades, I'll immediately look at it. I may not buy it, but I'll immediately look at it. So you can look at the productization of knowledge. If you have any question, later we can do it in a Q&A session, because maybe it's not very apparent to you, like, oh, you know, like Patrick mentioned just now, I'm the AV audio video segment right now. How do I give a guide? So we can give you some tips on that, okay? And the second really is, I think invest in that lead generation and lead nurturing process that I mentioned just now, correct? To prepare for the comeback. Now that you have time, get those people, you know, your smart people to implement those software, because in normal times, you're basically telling yourselves to say that, oh, you know, we're very busy with sales, there's no time, but then there's no excuse right now, right? Yeah, and you probably unlike last time, where the software, hardware is expensive, everything is so affordable today. If you're not doing it, and when you have time right now, and you have resources, you can redeploy all your current staff, right, to actually implement all these resources. I think if you emerge out from this and you stay the same, it's probably your own fault if another thing hits again, you know, right? Now, of course, this will tie in line with the third one, which is retraining and repositioning your existing staff. When we see, right, is that this is a more extreme measure, which I will give examples as well. It may be a good time actually right now to see whether you need to re-examine your business model based on your existing resource and assets to see if there is a better business model. Okay, I'm going to give you an example on number 4. I don't know if all of you have read, right? And it's actually in the real world example down there. When we talk about pivoting a business model, AirAsia is grounding their flights right now, see? So when they ground their flights, they're focusing on e-commerce ventures like Our Shop. Our Shop is a shopping channel for those who don't know. And Jobbie is actually a partner of Our Shop. They're investing very heavily into subsidies and everything to build onto their existing consumer base that Because although the business
Try speaking now. I think your screen's moving again.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry,
Okay.
guys. Let me repeat. All right. So I'm saying re-examining your business model to pivot to another business model. I was mentioning AirAsia, right? AirAsia can't operate today as well, but they've got this huge consumer reach and transaction data, customer behavior. So they're basically using that to launch up other business models like our shop, shopping channel, and Teleport, which is their logistics channel. So we are actually growth rate coming out from there. Justin, you're still there, right? Okay, cool. Okay, I just want to confirm. Now, I think a lot of people also don't know. Sunway Group, which is a property development, they actually have something called Sunway Ventures, which they have already invested into digital media and other digital businesses. So they've done that many years back. So maybe you can also look at yourself right now. If you're sitting on a huge pile of cash, can you actually reorient your business? If you're sitting on a huge pile of existing customer data, those are gold right now. Can it be pivoted to something else? We can give you ideas later in the Q&A session. And another interesting example is the third point under the real world example. There's a company called All Fox and Gold Spole in Australia, right? Which actually uses the data from these mining companies to predict where is the next mining site while reducing the risk of not finding it. Because it's actually very costly to sort of bid for a location, and then when you dig, you don't find as much gold or tin or ore. So basically they have took a commodity data. That data was actually available from the government, Australian government, but they monetize it, right? So this is how some of the examples where you can think perhaps to reorient yourself on a more extreme measure. Of course, if you don't want to go to the extreme measure on point 4, then have that longer term mindset to say, okay, it's a 6-month return. Point 1 to 3 is the only things I can do for now, right? Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, I basically come to the end of the presentation. We'll be opening up in the chat sessions. Yeah, maybe we can see whether everyone is still awake at this point in time, because we've muted everyone. You can share one takeaway in the chat. Corinne, I noted your question, so don't worry, we'll get to that in the Q&A session. So maybe, yeah, the participants can share any takeaways which were useful to you all.
Yeah, so what we do in the takeaway is whatever you learn, just name one highlight that you think you can implement, or one thing that stick out to you, or you would be excited to implement into your business. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for those who are quiet, then we can move to the Q&A session.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So how we're gonna do a Q&A? You can just throw your questions into the chat. I think at a certain point, Victor might want to have a conversation with you, then I'll unmute the person so that you all can have a conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how it works. So just throw in your questions to the chat box, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think meanwhile, when they're typing in the questions, we can have a chat with Karine and then address her question directly.
Yeah, Karine, come, let's unmute you. Where's Karine? Okay. Okay. Yeah, Karine, you need to unmute yourself.
I thought you can unmute her. No.
Yeah, I think she muted that side, so I can't override that.
Oh, okay. She's still there. It seems like Karine is not there.
Yes,
Okay, Richard, off the slides.
Yes, let me off the slides. Okay.
Cool.
Oh, Karine is.
Okay.
Hi, Karine.
Yes, Karine.
Oh, no sound? You can try taking out your earphones while we speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Can?
Yep.
Can you?
Yep.
Yes. Loud and clear.
Okay, great. How? Okay, thank you. So I asked the question, Victor?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we are talking about, me and Justin was talking about the automation of leads management the other day, I think 4 days ago.
Okay.
So yeah, this is going to be, yeah, we actually wanted to do it. Just shared about how this critical period make a lot of entrepreneurs actually fast forward. We actually wanted to do it 2 years ago until we met Justin and you. Then we really take massive action.
Okay, cool.
Because the right person. Thereafter the critical period come, we have to decide we actually can do in 3 months. So the other day I spoken to Justin where to do within 1 week.
Right.
So that this is good for us. This is good. We forced to do it, and we forced to do it, and we have plenty of time to do it because we stay home 24 hours.
Okay.
So we want to know more how we actually can pair I have 2 products now. For example, now we have 29 clubs around Malaysia. So we are badly hit because we can't open the club. It's fine because we actually have a proper management on crisis. We actually educate our club owner to actually reserve every month 15% of the turnover return all this money to our student.
Okay.
So meaning to say they have enough because we believe in treating people well. Then people know what we are doing. So in short, we actually can survive at least 3 months, even without collecting any school fee. That's blessing also. Because that particular reason we get interview from one of the media because 29 clubs not opening, how to actually pull through this and all our trainer clubs owner actually be fitted well in that sense. So yeah, that's one thing is blessed. The other thing we are actually thinking that one physical club, we know the limitation. The second one, we do have supplements, okay? Not all the clubs, certain clubs, we do have supplements that we can actually supply or we can introduce to our students.
Super.
So so how we in physical club we are doing very well because of the human touch and connection and trust. People don't feel we are selling. Actually, we have no intention to push sales as well, just because the result and they trust us. They know we are not force selling. They actually I still sell. We still selling.
Yes.
I don't like people say I don't sell. I sell, but we don't push the sell. So we actually pull the sell. So how we actually package all this our fitness, our customer service coaching for results. We can actually help people lose weight, get fitter. I myself lose 30 kg and kept it up for 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So all this. So we have, like you say, maybe it's not so important to us. We business owner take things for granted. Easy. This is very easy to keep the fit body is very easy for us. But it is very important or very precious to people. So we are ignorant in digital world.
Yeah. Okay.
We are very good in talking. Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
so sorry if I may cut it a bit short, right? Well,
yeah. Sorry.
What's the exact question here?
Yeah. So how we actually package all this into digital world to actually.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's probably easier for your end because if I'm not wrong, right, you would have diets, process. Customer, do you have their information as well?
What kind of information? Email, contact?
Email, contact information. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of them.
Okay. So, in the recommendations that I put in, so I think this is a very good chance for you to do, I think you're in a very good position to do two things. One is improving your influence, right? I'm not sure how strong your current channels, let's say like YouTube, Instagram, they are. So turn them into, I would turn them into an educational channel for your customers. And you mentioned about supplement products. So you're in a very good sweet spot that you actually have a physical product to sell. You don't have to sell them, right? But you can incorporate that physical product into part of your education. So it could be part of a diet plan or part of the exercise regime that they have to take. For example, I'm trying to build muscle, right? And I'm always looking, do I want to take protein supplements or not? I don't really have an answer for that. I always only hear from people or from my own research. But if I'm getting this right now, like a 15-minute workout home regime, and if you do this to accelerate your results, you can also buy our supplement. Don't buy our supplement, but you can help improve your results with this supplement.
Right.
If you want to buy, good.
Right.
But I assume you don't have an online website that sells this right now.
No.
Okay. So before you can even get there, right? Let's see what your objective is. If you really want to make sales during this time, then I think establishing that online influence is number one first. The online website, I think you can do it slightly later. That would be like second phase, because you can probably just sign up for a site like Lazada or whatnot. Let them take the cut because they will do the delivery and everything for you. Yeah, that would be my advice on how you can package those existing information that you have to develop the influence for now. And depending on your product is still direct consumer. I think you can have a shorter turnaround time. I think this applies to everyone else who is listening as well. Your product may have a different sales life cycle. Now, Corinne's product is more direct to consumer. So if someone likes it, it may be an impulse purchase that happens straight away. But for other people, like I don't know, like Richard's case in interior design, that's not going to happen. But he can still build that influence for now. Yeah. Yeah, Corinne, I understand you're working with Justin on this, but I would advise one thing: spending that time in terms of lead nurturing. Right. Most important part is coming up with a process. So that process, you need to invest a little bit more time to think of your customer life cycle, how they discover you, how they go through, what they learn, and where they convert. And then build your content around that sort of customer life cycle workflow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's open it up to other people. I see some question here. Justin, maybe you can pick up one.
Okay, so there are a few questions lah, so I think we can answer all of them. Okay. What if my target clients are corporate companies, B2B sales, where it's all salespeople? Yeah. I call up let me unmute. I can't find you. Okay.
So okay, let me repeat. Say B2B. Did they say what product, Justin?
Limin, you're unmuted.
Oh, hi. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm lost.
Yeah. Hello. Yes.
Okay. So my target client is corporate. So usually I will meet the HR and then propose to them.
Right.
Then go to layer, GM.
Yes.
Only get the approval.
Yep.
So now, because most of the time we contact to the HR is we go to the office, call them the office number and then contact them. So for the stage now, unless I have the personal contact,
right,
then I have
so
yeah.
What if you don't? I mean, this is a age-old business, right? So what if in regular times you don't actually have the contact? What do? Do you just knock on the door and then go there? No, right?
No, we just email.
So I assume you're still doing that right now. Okay, so the communication is not an issue, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So if the communication is not an issue, then I guess meeting up is not an issue because you can video conference also, right?
But I was scared it's it's not directly to the consumer, it's to the HR.
Yes.
Would that be any obstacle through them?
Oh, I think as long as your product is something that can be explained through a video conference or a call, it would not impact you too much. In fact, your sales cycle and benefits is if I'm hearing it correctly, it's kind of intangible, right? They cannot visually see it, right? They cannot visually see your product. So you're still in your same business model as before or after the COVID thing. Now, the only thing right now is where is their attention and focus? I believe their attention and focus is talking about layoffs, possibly.
Yes.
Annual leaves, HR benefits.
Yep.
So if I think you don't have actually a problem in prospecting and selling to them, but their priorities are different right now. So you need to basically look at how your product is going to benefit them in this current situation, because you cannot, unfortunately, you cannot change the priority of people, but you can fit into their priority, right? Yeah. So you gotta think a little bit about that. Unfortunately, I'm no expert in the way I would position it. If I'm going to try a hand at this, is I would probably write a guide or a document, right, or craft out an email that tells how the diet will probably influence the health of the workers right now, so that the HR doesn't have to pay so much in medical fees, doctor claims, all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. What's the other question we have here?
Okay, we have Nicole. She runs online baking business, selling cakes. Right.
Online,
so is her business considered hybrid? Besides running online classes now, what are the things that can be done to add value to her audience? Oh, by the way, Nicole uses Jobbie a lot.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've been meaning to connect you all.
Okay, thank you. So, okay. Well, the question before I can even answer this, yes, I would say yours is a hybrid business because you have a physical product that you have to deliver to the consumer at the end of the day. And you actually need to put in physical work to create that product. So my question before I can talk about online class and adding value is, can you still make the cakes today?
Nicole, you're unmuted, by the way.
I have limited resources to operate as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say limited resources, are you getting more demand than before, or you cannot fulfill the same demand that you had?
Basically, sales had been affected a lot.
I see.
And also, because shops are closed and I cannot get touch of my resources as well.
So your main channel is actually selling to the shops itself, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I cannot go and buy my ingredients. That's the thing, even if I have orders.
Right. You cannot buy your ingredients. Not even at the local supermarkets and all this. Is it because?
No, usually I have to buy from cake ingredient shops. Yeah, baking shops.
Right. Okay.
And the thing is, about 55% of my sales comes from cafes, restaurants, food caterers for events. That's why my business get hit quite a lot because
50%.
Yeah.
Understand. Okay. Agreed. Again, my sympathies to the retail industry now. Well, it's not all doom and gloom for you, because I see you have an online bake shop. In fact, do you know of this website called Eat Cake Today?
Yes.
Right. Okay. What I am seeing right now on the digital end, which you may experience, but maybe not from a business sense, is that you see actually a lot of people cooking online. I mean, your friends and family, and they do. I'm sure you see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My advice right now, besides putting online classes, I don't think people are in the mood to actually do online class today. You know, they're probably worrying about, is my job still going to be there? Is my business going to survive or not, right? So what I would possibly do in your situation is two things, depending on if you're looking for sales or not. If your sales can sustain your current operations, then good for you. But if not, right, then I would suggest is that let's address the sales part first. Is the sales able to sustain the current operations right now, or the current cost?
I mean, because mine is more on variable costs.
Yeah.
It's not like a fixed cost. Yeah.
Superb. So you're in at least slightly more comfortable situation. All right. Now, then if let's say sales is not an immediate concern, I would actually take this time to develop two things, right? The part where I mentioned the influence right now. I'm not sure about your following on your Instagram and Facebook channel. I think that's something that you can connect with your audience, right? Especially if you have got a strong following. The second thing that I would probably consider, right, is can you actually revamp your recipes to something that is not requiring of you going to those specialized baking shops? Because I do know of a few friends, right, who in fact they own cafes, then they have nothing to do at home, so they're baking, right? A lot of people see it and say, oh, you know, I want this one, and then of course they are taking I won't recommend this, but I'm just telling you they are doing this. So they bake those products and then they sell it to their friends and family where they deliver themselves. Some they don't deliver themselves, they ask for delivery services like Lala Move and all, and they factor in that delivery cost and pass it to the end consumers itself. So maybe you can relook at that. I think this is, in my view, something that a lot of us won't consider to change so much, you know. I was actually speaking to the MRCA group. And although I didn't put this out, which I think I will later, is a lot of them tell me that Food Panda, Grab Food are not making money. Actually they charge quite high of a commission, about 30% to 40%. So, but then my question is, what, you have orders yet you cannot make money? So there's a fundamental issue in your costing of the product, isn't it? So my question to them was basically this: why are you sticking with the same menu in these times? Why not rework or revamp that menu, right? To have a better cost structure and taking into consideration the current supply chain shortages of what's available to you. I'm pretty sure if you're a good cook, baker, or whatnot, you can still create something much more tasty than the general population can, right? Yeah. So that would be my advice.
Okay. Thank you, Victor.
All right. Okay, next.
Cool. I'm interested to know this one as well. Richard Ma asked if there's anything that he can do online or invest in the area around his current industry. My take on it, right? Of course, I've been handling his campaigns. It's unlike normal interior designers where there's a long sales cycle with, I mean, it's still fairly long, but it's shorter than most because he targets property investors. He has a very different value proposition. I'm sure you know his business. So what can he do now to, what if he wants to invest now, what can he do?
I don't think actually, I mean, I personally know Richard, right, for the rest of the people. And he's a client of Justin's Adeve business. So I personally don't think he can do anything more from the marketing front, except for investing into marketing resource, the productization of his knowledge. But that's just going to add more into marketing, where if he's already doing good, he may not see the sort of incremental value from it. It's a very small value, but a lot of effort for that small value, right? You understand, Justin? So where I think he can actually reap more benefit would be, Richard, I think you probably should invest more in terms of your executional design. You're probably doing things like your AutoCAD design, I don't know, how you could quote your customer, and then how you do that viewing, the conceptualization, the 3D CAD software and all. I don't know if you have those in-house, but if you do, or if you do not, you should invest in that area. You want to put Richard on the call, then we can hear.
He's on the call already.
Okay.
I don't know what to talk.
No, I mean, you're doing interior design, right? So I think, depending, I don't know your infrastructure. I don't think the marketing and sales end you can see any huge benefits. But if you invest right now back into your executional capability on the back end, decide how fast you can come up with design. Can you digitize your design, and then show them instantly a few templates on, right? I think that will help you when the demand comes back. Probably not right now. Yeah.
We can say like this, in this kind of thing, we generate instant quotation. We actually have a lot of instant template for them to choose. It's not a very problem to us. I think currently is that, when should I start to shoot the campaign? Should I shoot now or shoot a few days before the reopen? Because I think currently, if we shoot, right, all of us are in panic. I'm just throwing my money into the sea. So this week I'm going to sleep and sit.
But is your marketing cost down? I mean, going down right now?
We stopped already. We are Justin. We stopped already.
But was the trend going down, Justin?
No.
Oh, okay. The trend was going up. The leads of conversion were going up.
Because response was going down. Conversions were going down.
What was the content like? So tip for everybody. If your content at this point in time, right, is not to the mindset of the consumer or your customer, and as we have demonstrated in a few questions already, like Lim Min asked just now, HR, but if you're not in the top of their prioritization, or at least fitting into their prioritization, you definitely won't get their attention. So okay, back to the question, Justin, was the content tweaked to take into account the current coronavirus and the shutdown thing and all?
No, not yet. So
it's a common theme that I see amongst a lot of businesses, right? There are two extremes. One is they take advantage of this coronavirus message that it makes them feel so distasteful that they are taking advantage of the situation, you know. I don't think that's very good marketing, right? I'll give you an example. I actually saw one, what is called this, it's like WeWork, virtual office leasing. Yeah, the message basically said, stop the spread, which did not make sense to a lot of people. Got a lot of bad feedback. I don't think they even got the leads and all this, right? But on the other hand, if it's a good thing, like you can say, you know, since you're staying more at home, why not have a chat on how to remodel your room so that you feel more happier, uplift your mood every day you wake up. You don't have to video conference every day, example, right? I think that would be a better approach. So before you stop, I would think, look at your content. Is it relevant? My general feel here right now is that everybody is going to be like you, stopping the ads. For the right ads, the cost will go down significantly. Like Jobbie, we are operating in a fast-moving consumer goods space. Very expensive. A lot of people, we're fighting with Nestle and all this kind of lots of marketing budget. Now, they've all cut all of their dollars already. And it makes our marketing costs way much more cheaper. In fact, 5 times cheaper. So for me, I'm going to reinvest as much dollars as I can at this point in time. Yeah. So before you say you want to stop, I would say confirm for sure. Is it your trend of your marketing cost? Is it really going up or just going down for your case? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We will have another 12 more minutes. Take a few more questions. Okay.
I think we can. I think we have 3 more.
Okay.
Okay. From Dr. Adriel. Dr. Adriel is an eye doctor. Right. So he was asking. I think this was a question. This was a conversation we always had. Right? How to improve the authority in his field, because eye tests are largely similar and commoditized. For Dr. Adriel, he has an expertise which is very unique. But how do we I think if I were to rephrase it correctly, is how to communicate that. And especially now when eye is a very offline thing, how do you even bring it online? Yeah.
So can I ask what's the expertise on that field, like the ophthalmology field?
Victor, I'm actually a consultant optometrist. I'm actually practicing preventive eye care.
Right.
If you understand the word preventive eye care, which is also called predictive eye care, and you understand predictive eye care is also similar with predictive healthcare. And you understand predictive healthcare is also talk about big data. So we have been practicing this for the last 20 years. Basically, I have the drive, and also on the back end, there's a calling in a way that I have eye conditions. The last week I spent too much of my time. My old wound, left eye bleed lah. So the key question is actually a lot of people in the optical and also in the medical, they're actually involved in called the reactive care. It's all emergency care, treat the symptom, never treat the root cause. So the technology that what we do with a retina scan algorithm, we could have 5 eye condition with 5 solution. And then we personalize spectacles according to the thing, something like a thumbprint, personalize it. So one day to get it done, the last technology is actually we have an eye care program to help people how to take care of eye longer. So the glasses, the use usually is ranging about 2 to 5 times more value than the normal glasses.
Okay.
And then they can create the future for the eye health.
But this is for people who wear glasses specifically, right?
No more already actually. If actually allow me just to bring it back, the glasses based on power is 157-year-old technology.
Okay.
This before the smartphone come around, because what we see is all screen. All right. It's direct light. But our light, if our eye is created by the creator, is see indirect light, which is actually the light shine on you can see. I can see. Shine on me. Can see. So the whole game ball had changed, but only 1%, maybe less than 1% globally expert talk about that. Talk about light. Yeah. So I'm actually in a way of the forefront of understanding of this principle. But the application-wise, and Justin helped me a couple of years ago,
right? Which
is the communicating the message out and also to establish authority for people to know. Yeah,
I think. Sorry.
The mission is actually it's like now at this junction, 1.9 billion people, and a big chunk is children. Children are talking about 10 years old or below. Their eye condition is accelerated 30 years advance. Very frightening.
Okay.
30 years advance. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's. Unfortunately, we don't have too much time to go into the details.
Yes, I probably also have to go soon.
Yeah. I understand the product.
Yeah.
My advice on this, in terms of building authority, right, is that my general feel, without, and I have to preface that you probably know much more than me in that industry. But from a marketing standpoint, the bleeding edge technology, I've always been in that front.
Correct, that's true.
And contextualize it into the current problems people are facing. So for example, right, the light shine thing you mentioned, I think if you sit down with me and you discuss everything, sure, I'll probably understand. But what is the key message for a lot of people that can understand today? I will probably just say blue light. Everybody know blue light is bad, right? So if you can sort of focus onto one subject which everybody understands already, you can find it, you can offer them a solution to that, and let's say how you're different in treating that particular problem that they already know of. I think that position is much more easier to establish that authority rather than teaching them something new, because I've been, like I was saying, I've been selling technology for people 3 to 5 to 10 years back, right? Until now, they still don't get what I sell, it's
agree.
Only,
yes.
Yeah. So that would be my response. Yeah. Okay.
Just a quick one. Victor, can I just prick your brain? Brain. The blue light, actually, our eye got 3 cells.
Right.
Now you use glasses for blue light like that.
Yeah.
10 years later, whoever got eye problem look at you say, Victor, how come your face is always black?
Okay.
So dark one, so gloomy.
Right.
So then they come with another glasses, say, hey, you can wear this glasses, see Victor's face become more cheerful.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
okay.
It's like, so what I'm helping people is actually you can actually create and stay healthy by going long, by going long. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I would just say I can't really comment too much on that right now, given that I don't have the context.
Correct. Yes.
But I think Justin, if he sits down with you, he can have much more of a meaningful conversation on how to position. I can give inputs to Justin as well.
Can.
Okay.
So I would actually make a separate time because I have a
sure,
meeting.
Sure. We'll take
Justin.
this offline.
Yeah. There are a few 1 or 2 more business opportunity I want to quickly connect.
Sure.
Justin. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Bye. Yeah.
Okay.
Arigato. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, let's take a few more before we end. I think we've got about 6 minutes more. Let's get to Miko's one.
Yeah.
Okay, we can put Miko on the line. Our cash flow is very tight. My boss putting on hold the spend of digital marketing. What points can I pursue him if they hold on? What I can do now? Okay, is Miko on the line?
Yes.
Oh, hello, Miko.
No.
Okay, so okay, I understand where your question is coming from because your role is digital marketing, right? And then honestly, if I'm your boss right now, given the current situation, I won't invest into digital marketing too. I will come back. And even if the demand comes back, I don't know whether I can get the sales that I have pre-MCO before, right? So that's his worry on his head right now. What I would actually position, if you look at the slides, anyway, for the rest of the participants, we'll send you the slides after this in your email. Now, I would position it in a way that is investing into automation of your sales force and your marketing operations, rather than talking about digital marketing and lead generation. Because at this point in time, he probably doesn't care, and he will say, sure, you can give me 100 leads right now. So what? I don't know whether they'll convert or not. After they convert, they got money to spend. I also don't know, right? So that will be the boss's concern right now. Is that you're asking me to spend money. I spend money already. Then am I going to reap any benefits from it? So I think there's only two ways you can approach it. One is that tell him that it's automation of the entire workflow of sales and marketing, right? Because in the future, once you implement this, maybe you don't need so much as a marketer, or maybe your marketer is very, very lean, but maybe you don't need so much sales follow-up because the effectiveness rate is up. So if you convince them on the automation end, I think it's easier. The second thing that I would probably try or second angle that I would try to come in from, instead of saying automation, is how do you actually create that lead, far away from your competition right now? Everybody is going to do the same thing to cut down costs, obviously. But you have to ask, I don't know what's the financial situation inside. So if the financial, but I just don't want to spend this, at least you can still convince better. So if you've got cash, then how can I use this current cash to extend the lead that I have? I don't know what's your competition right now in your competitor, but if you take this time, right, in digital, it's very, very different from offline. In digital, once you establish the lead already, as in, let's say you're number one in Google Ads today, right? Sorry, not Google Ads, SEO. If they type your product, what your product is, tiles,
flooring.
Yeah. So if they type flooring, right, and you're number one in all the terms that you rank, right? It's very, very hard to let other people to catch up. They will take 6 months or even up to a year in sometimes longer. And if they don't even have marketing dollars, if they throw money in, they may not even be able to catch up with that. So it's more about explaining from a marketing angle, right? I am investing this so that I have that lead that people cannot catch up to when the demand returns. It's not about lead generation, it's not about sales anymore. It's creating that gap between you and your competitor. So that would be how I would position it to the boss, if I am positioning it to the boss.
Yeah. But the problem is, although we are claiming ourselves as number ones in Malaysia, definitely we actually number one in terms of sales. But in the digital, we are very, our adaptations to IT is seriously very low. So, I mean, in the previous few years ago, we didn't invest anything in SEO and SEM. Sure. That's why some of the competitor, they are really did it quite well. So there actually is in the how to say high ranking compared to us. But it comes to a project side, like developer never use their product because they have a lot of defects. So that means in the reality, the real world, people know we are good. But in the IT world, we are really weak. And my boss currently don't want to invest in IT. No, it's just on hold. So even if let's say right now I want to make it my SEO become better, I don't think so.
But then again, you know, there's only two things that will happen from this decision. One is that in the past, you can still say 90% of the sales offline. I don't know whether you want to focus on consumer. Do you want to focus on consumer or B2B?
My role is to need to focus on retail consumer.
Okay. But is it his objective also?
Also, is his objective because he is doing a lot of he joining a lot of branding associations. He understands that the brand value can work, like Grab, Airbnb. He knows one. He knows those is because of the brand. It's not they are really earn money. It's because of the brand. He want to achieve those kind of brand. But it comes to technical part, he will start to go back to the traditional way. That is money. Everything is cash and money. And I already see the P&L. We already know that if let's say we don't have sales for these 2 months, really we are in the deep shit, seriously.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, this one, because you're constrained by cash. So, but whether it's high on your priority, then you have to decide with your boss. Okay. But what I would think is that, as I mentioned just now, right, B&M is giving an automation digital facility loan facility that's only less than 5% per annum interest.
4.
Yeah, it's only 4%. Even if you take out a small amount from that, say 100,000, let's say 100,000, 50,000, to reinvest back into this and pay it off 1 year later, I think the returns are much more bigger than the 4% interest that you're paying. So, I mean, that's one, okay? Because to him, cash flow is an issue right now. So you have to solve his problem about cash flow, obviously, right? So one is that. But second, I think you have to give him really a big warning, which is, if you do not, I mean, you already know that you're falling behind in digital, and if you continue not to invest, especially in this time, and they reinvest, right? That lead is going to expand further. So you can basically tell him, I said, it's okay if you don't want to invest, but that's going to catch up to you. It's like an accumulated deficit, you know. So are you going to do it now? Or are you going to do it 6 months later or 1 year later? Because when you do it, then that 6 months that's accumulated now is going to be, they call this on higher right now, right? That cost is not going to go away. Yeah? You better make use of me right now when I have free time, right? To spend that. If not, when retail kicks in, you need to go and handle events, promos, and all this kind of thing, and you come back to the same situation where you have no time already.
Yeah.
So that will. At the end of the day. Yeah. So even if it's lead, right? I think you all know your cost per lead. If by investing in this you get 100 leads and then you times say $100 with 100 leads, then what, you got 100,000? Yeah. So you need to put some numbers to him so that he can justify that, okay, it's willing, it's not too much of a small amount. It's equivalent to one person's pay possibly. Let's say 60,000 a year, okay? It's equivalent to 5,000 ringgit per month. So why am I not investing in this when it can produce me the return and position me in a better way when the demand returns? Yeah, you have to put those numbers to him. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. One last question. We're already past time. Last question, Justin.
Okay. So Jeremy asks, he's an accountant. So thinking of going into digital marketing, would providing online cash flow and P&L projection for free online be a good lead magnet, if I would rephrase it?
Is it a customized one? Can you put Jeremy on?
Hi, Jeremy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, man. Yeah.
Yep.
So Jeremy is part of our attendees also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Yeah. So basically, I think, I think the reason why this comes to our mind is like, I think this will be the most direct way to give the value to the client or the potential client, in the sense that I think now the hot whether we have to redundant the staff, So I think the whole idea is that actually we have run through one training on Monday itself. I think the result is quite good. Just a trial, in the sense that the session will be like, during the fill in the templates or doing the cash flow projections for the client itself. We will, first of all, we give the free template for them as a benchmark. They can customize the way they want it, right? So the key here is during the process of filling in the informations or the figures, right? It will kick in the thinking process.
Okay.
For instance, how many source of income you have in some of your business. So giving an example, if let's say you are running a construction company, so you have the so-called the brick and mortar part, which means you have to send your worker to the site and build the things up. At the same time, upon request for the customer, you also give a so-called additional service in terms of designing. So at this critical moments, what happening is like you definitely cannot send your workers out, but your designing work, perhaps you still can continue.
Okay.
And during this process, we also will ask questions like, are you aware of the gross profit margin for different product or services that you have it? So then we realize the so-called the business owner will start thinking, wow, I never think of this. And in fact, actually the gross profit margin is much more higher as compared with the the brick and mortar. And it made them really like rethink like, okay, should I actually, if I manage to get through this, okay, or definitely I can get through this because I have a cash surplus, I can actually rebuild, or I want to divert my core business or diversify it to this part. So we think that this is a moment that actually helpful for the business owner actually to do the informed decisions instead of they are just blind and just guessing. They're just looking at the bank account. I don't have much money. I get worried. Yeah, this is a part that we can think of, and of course we're not sure whether it's and then how to make it together with the digital marketing. Yeah.
Okay. So right now you're already doing this. You've done this one-to-one consultative manner.
Yeah, actually one time only upon request from the client actually.
It's one-to-one.
Yeah, actually we have 4 person. I covered cash flow part. My partner covered the projection for the profit and loss actually. So at least 1.5 hours for each person, and we have clients.
Okay. Well, I think it's a very good what do you call that? Good endeavor if you can digitize it, like put it in a form people can fill in the details.
Yes.
But also I understand that to develop that maybe not so fast unless you've got a good developer and you may want to put cost. If you want to look for a low cost way immediately, maybe it's actually to run an online workshop for this. But of course, the online workshop, what I would suggest is that you don't call it cash flow and P&L projection. You need to use something that
more fancy.
Most people will understand. Most people will. Actually,
simple.
A lot of business owners probably, when you talk, unless they've been in business a long time, right?
Yeah.
They probably don't understand what the hell is a cash flow projection.
Yeah, no worry. So I think so during the sessions, right, we try to keep things simple, and we use a lot of case study and storytelling on this part. So
what I'm saying is that I have no doubt that when you conduct it, people are gonna understand. But I'm saying when you combine it with digital marketing, you gotta generate the leads first, right? Correct?
Yeah, correct.
Unless you tell me that your existing clients, you just need to go back to them. That's okay. That's no problem. But if you're looking for new customers, then I think you need to tweak that messaging to be easier to understand. Besides using the financial term, because a lot of people really like cash flow. What is that? Cash flow projection.
Okay, I got you lah. I got you.
Yeah. So okay. that would be my advice. Yeah.
Okay. So Justin, count on you.
Okay. For
thank you, Peter.
those,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So for those questions that we cannot answer, we'll try and respond to your personality in the next few days. I guess we have to end here because it's past our time that we've allocated already. So okay, thank you everyone for joining. I hope everyone learned something and stay safe. Everyone. Justin, you have any closing remarks?
So no. Are we doing one next week?
Well, the lockdown is going to continue on 14 April, right? So you
so we
continue.
should. Okay, cool.
Okay. Thank you everyone for attending, and I hope it was useful for each and every one of you. Yeah.
Hopefully see you next week.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.